All right, we got Blue Division donated $5 and says, Stryker and Ahab. I saw a video that some fake socialist did on Red Ice, essentially just shitting on whites. Is there a chance we can get some fasci versus commie debates, especially in regards to socialism and economics? We are the real socialists.
That's Vaush or Vaush or whatever. He's like he's part of SoyTube. It's this like SJW YouTube network, and this guy again challenged me to debate. I accepted. I pushed him on it again, and he won't debate me. So this guy says I'm irrelevant, and then spends 20 minutes on his stream talking about me.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm irrelevant, debate Mike Enoch. He's the #1 alt-right guy in America right now. Talk to him. Yeah. Debate him. Why won't you debate him? I'll tell you why he won't debate us. Because he knows we're going to attack him from the left on all the popular things, and we're going to attack him from the right, and again, all the popular things.
Yeah.
This guy spends almost no time, talking about class issues or class interests. He spends all his time talking about bullshit like fucking transsexual bathrooms and other bullshit that only rich people care about.
Yeah.
And so, this guy could easily be absolutely wrecked in an ideological clash. He knows that, which is why he only picks on retards. Like I saw him, he brought like a guy who's just like a meme Nazi, right? Like a guy who gets his views from like, I don't know, the Daily Stormer or something. And yeah, you can beat those guys, you can trick those guys up and trip them up in your word salads and little pill pull. But come do that with me. Come fight someone your own size.
Well,
and I will fucking wreck that guy. I will fucking totally discredit him and his little racket. That guy makes like $1,000 a stream from his fans. So he knows that if I discredit him, his whole thing about how he's owning the Nazis and all this and that just goes in the garbage. So,
I one of the things I like about the way you and Mike both debate, or the way you frame arguments. And this is something that I've always tried to do. And I've told people this before, and I've given this advice to people. If you want to win a debate, if you want to win an argument, you need to be able to debate the enemy's position better than they can debate it themselves. In other words, and I believe this about you, Stryker, and I believe it about Mike. You guys are pretty formidable with the way you think and argue, to the extent that if you had to argue the liberal position or the leftist position, you guys would know how to do it. And you would do it more forcefully. You would do it if you disingenuously, to play devil's advocate. I had a very good friend in college who he loved to argue, this guy. And we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but so many of my arguments I honed in arguing with. I mean, we would just get together. We would there would be a party or something at his place, and we'd end up just everybody in the room would just be sitting there with their mouths hanging open while we just go at it like blood sports. But he was very good, always, this guy, at playing devil's advocate, and he could make the whole room believe that he was a total like George Bush supporting, Iraq war supporting, like cheerleader for the Iraq war, even though he absolutely was on more anti-war protests with me than anybody else during that period. But he could argue the position so strongly, and he would do this just to fuck with like leftists. He would take like a pro George Bush position, just to like mess with them, see what they were made of intellectually. And he was quick on his feet. And this guy and I used to argue all night long. And I learned how to do that, how to switch my position so that I can argue the enemy's position. And that's why, I read so much. That's why I watch Meet the Press and Face the Nation. That's why I think about the arguments that the enemy is making.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be just hopped up on my own bullshit propaganda. And that's what it is with these people who like read Breitbart. It's like and the liberals are even worse. The people who read like Vox, they have no idea what is going on in the mind of an average Trump voter. They have no clue.
Well, the thing is with leftists especially, all their arguments are canned. So once you learn their basic arguments, you can beat them every time.
Right.
A simple amount of critical thinking.
Right.
But they're not just canned, like they're also they have really unpopular ideas. Like I was talking to someone today, the new meme, I don't know if you saw that Jimmy Dore thing, where he brought that kid Caleb. He claims to be like a reformed Nazi or something.
Oh,
and Caleb was talking about how climate change is causing mass immigration from non-white countries to white countries. And Jimmy Dore was kind of shitting on him during this because, you're taking two policy issues, immigration and climate change stuff, that are fundamentally unpopular. People don't want to pay more for gas just for your climate change stuff. They don't want to eat bug burgers, okay? And they definitely don't want 35 million Mexicans in their country. Okay, so you're just combining the two worst things, and you're making this argument, and that's totally some crap you got out of a can from an NGO. So anyone that does any bit of critical thinking and debates that is going to crush that person. And the thing with Vaush is that he actually is kind of fluent in meme Nazism. So he knows some of the memes and stuff. Some of them are actually not true. Like, for example, it is true that, for example, people will say that they'll cite some statistic about Jewish owners of slaves, right? And some of those statistics are genuinely inaccurate, which is why it's so important to really emphasize empirical accuracy when you're giving statistics on these things.
Right.
Because if not, those guys will have they'll have a field day with you.
Never let you live it down.
Yeah, exactly. So we have no room to make any mistakes. So if you don't know what you're doing, don't go into debates with these people. But then again, they also feel the same way.
Right.
So that's why they won't they will literally debate people that have more followers than I do, and they'll debate people that have fewer followers than I do, and then come up with some excuse for why they do that. And the reality is, the reason they don't like what I say is that I can talk to you. I can give my views, my exact. I'm pro-white. I'm a pro-West. I'm basically a National Socialist, but I can frame these views in a leftist context for people that have a brain that is more in tune with that frequency, and they're fucking scared as shit about that.
This is why
they find that scary.